Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Maddie Weiris. In tonight's top story, before football fans filled Shreveport's Independence Stadium ahead of a highly anticipated matchup, NBC6's Donald Britton caught up with some loyal fans.
Go UAB!
Today, the BYU Cougars and the UAB Blazers brought fans together from across the country as they faced off at the 45th annual Radiance Technologies Independence Bowl.
I am so excited to be here. I came all the way from Washington, D.C., and she's just as close in Northern Virginia.
I came from Northern Virginia.
Hawaii at BYU Hawaii, and I love football.
Some fans say coming to this game is a long tradition of theirs, and they weren't going to let the rain stop that.
We've been coming here since the 70s. We love coming to the Independence Bowl. We get excited about it because we meet people from all over.
The game was not only a fun experience for fans, but also allowed them to help others in the area. Local congregations of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints partnered with BYU Alumni Association to collect socks at the BYU tailgate, which they plan to donate to Hope Connections.
We knew that there was a need. Like I said, we partnered with them, so we know the needs. And one thing that they lack is socks for the homeless, because there's a lot of foot problems. And since they have free laundering, we thought that we could provide at least 7 pairs for a lot of people. We're just beginning in the Shreveport area to start getting cold, and so the homeless, some of them have shelter, some of them don't. So our extremities need to be protected, and so we thought that providing these socks, that they can provide warmth and comfort, and especially in these upcoming winter months.
And with the help of donations from various communities, they were able to collect over 1,000 pair of socks. Donald Britton, NBC6 News.
Shreveport police are investigating a multiple car accident that left one man injured. It happened around just before 6:30 p.m. on North Market at Deer Park Road. Police say a car pulled out of Deer Park and crashed into another traveling southbound on North Market. The impact resulted in a chain reaction that ultimately involved 5 cars. One man is dead and another is behind bars after an early morning crash in North Shreveport. 23-year-old Kevin Meredith of Wake Village, Texas, is charged in the death of 51-year-old Derek Dwayne Jones, who was crossing North Market Street at Nelson Street. Police say Meredith pulled over and stopped after he hit the victim, but initial alcohol tests showed he was driving under the influence. Meredith was booked into the Shreveport City Jail on 1 count of vehicular homicide and 1 count of DWI. A Shreveport woman is fighting for her life after being shot while leaving a local bar this morning. Shreveport police say the victim was at Strange Brew when a fight broke out. She got into her car to leave, but as soon as she drove off, gunfire erupted and 1 round went through the trunk of her car, striking her in the back. First responders found the victim at the 1800 block of Easy Street and then rushed her to Osher LSU Health Hospital in critical condition. No suspects have been identified, and if you have any information, please call Caddo Parish Crime Stoppers. Well, the COVID surge has many concerned about the new Omicron variant, and we're hearing from a range of health experts about the questions so many have ahead of holiday gatherings. Jose Diaz-Balart reports.
The biggest curveball from this new variant.
There will be plenty of breakthrough infections, that's for sure.
People who are fully vaccinated and boosted testing positive.
It seems clear that this breakthrough cases in Omicron are going to be very common, even if you're boosted.
Breakthrough cases are inevitable. This is a highly transmissible variant.
That may be driving part of this surge. Look at what's happening in highly vaccinated New York. The graph of positive cases is literally shooting skyward.
Doctor, is there a difference between Omicron and Delta for those that have been vaccinated and have gotten their booster?
If you've been vaccinated and have had your booster, whether you're exposed to Delta or to Omicron, you should be very well protected against serious disease that could put you in the hospital.
But larger questions about Omicron still remain.
At the moment, our sense of how ferocious, how deadly Omicron is still in flux.
There is some preliminary data that suggests it could be mild. First, early lab studies have found Omicron may not attack the lungs like other variants.
Omicron replicates, multiplies very well in the upper airway, but less well in the lung.
Second, in South Africa, where Omicron first took off, the headlines this weekend are stoking some optimism. Hospitalizations are down 91%.
We can say one thing, though. It's definitely not more severe. What they've seen in South Africa is that they've had lower rates of hospitalization, almost 1/3 of what they saw with the Delta wave.
But there are caveats to much of this.
I think a lot of this data is still emerging. It's very preliminary.
And South Africa is a very young population with a lot of built-in immunity from either vaccinations or previous infection.
When will we know more about the effects of Omicron on the vulnerable population?
We don't have a breakdown, but we do know that in general, people who are older and people who are immunocompromised can have greater number of severe cases.
For many, this confusing data couldn't come at a worse time, with Christmas just 1 week away.
Should you be getting on an airplane this Christmas?
You can get on an airplane, but keep the mask on.
Should people be gathering for the holidays?
Everybody's risk tolerance is very different, but I don't think large gatherings should be encouraged. I think that people should keep their gatherings as small as possible.
I think we should hang our stockings with care. I think we need to be careful. We should all be vaccinated and, if eligible, boosted.
Our experts recommend getting a rapid test that day.
Take a rapid antigen test right before you gather, shortly before, not earlier in the day, because that's the most accurate way to understand if you are in an active infection.
So we're 1 week away from Christmas. What should people be doing these last 7 days?
I'm choosing not to do activities that might expose me to other people, not going into large crowds where I might have to take my mask off.
I think we all ought to be really kind of careful, withdraw a little bit, so that when we do get together, we're less likely to bring the virus with us. That would be an unfortunate Christmas gift.
And coming up, how one NFL team is trying to stay on the field during the COVID surge. This in your full forecast next.
You're watching NBC 6 News at 10. And now, your weather authority, Josh Marcis, certified the most accurate forecast in the Arklatex.
Well, definitely a chilly night ahead for us here in the Arklatex, as your temperatures tonight will fall into the 30s and maybe a few locations in the low 40s. Look out for a freeze here. We'll be down to 32 in Queen, 30 in Idabel, and 32 in Mount Pleasant. 32 is freezing, so if you're near and north of I-30, that's where we expect maybe a freeze for about an hour or so around sunrise tomorrow morning. Look at satellite and radar. There goes our cold front, so the rain getting carried to the east. We have high pressure building in behind this front, so we're expecting the skies will continue to clear tonight. Some locations did see a little bit of blue sky poke out before we hit sunset earlier this evening, but a cold night for sure. We'll wind up in the 30s tonight, and then where we regularly hit about 80 degrees and did break a couple of record highs. This cool weather will be around for a few days, but we've got another big warm up as we head through your Christmas week. Look at your Robinson a Futurecast. You can see the clouds going away tonight and likely for your Sunday, mostly sunny to partly cloudy skies. So if you're doing anything outside tomorrow, don't have to worry about any rain, but it will be a chilly day with temperatures in the 50s tomorrow. Also have a north wind here coming through at about 10 miles per hour, so it may make those wind chills for much of the day feel like they're in the 40s. Rain does not stay gone long. You can see Sunday night into Monday morning we have one more weather disturbance that will be moving in out of Texas, and this will actually be closer to the coastline here, but we'll be close enough to it to especially pull some of these lightly scattered rain showers into the Arklatex on Monday, especially in Texas and Louisiana. We're not quite sure the rain will punch as far north as the I-30 corridor, but even with this rain that we see on Monday, this will probably be all that we see for the upcoming weekend. Pretty light accumulations at that, as Futurecast is showing, including some of the rain that we saw today. You can see maybe just a few hundredths of an inch of rain tacking on to what we've seen here over the last few hours. So not a lot of rain on the way for the upcoming week, but we do have a warming trend as well. Will be a dry Christmas week for us, picking things up on Tuesday. You can see the rain shifting east and nothing but that dry air making its way in throughout the week. So if you do have some travel plans throughout the week, we should have some great weather for that Tuesday, at least through next Sunday. The weather pattern looking dry for us, and look out for those warmer temperatures once again. Fairly pleasant through the middle of the week, as we'll eventually wind up in the 60s on Wednesday and warming back into the mid 70s for Christmas Eve as well as Christmas Day. Should have temperatures coming in below record highs. Record territory is the low 80s, so I don't think we'll break any Christmas records, but a lot of cold nights this week, but we should see those overnight lows into the 50s as we head into your Christmas weekend. That's a look at your weather forecast. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
You're watching NBC 6 News at 10.
This new COVID surge is once again causing chaos in the world of sports. So what are teams doing to keep players and staff safe? Emily Ikea gets an exclusive look at how one NFL team is trying to stay on the field.
This weekend, an unusual quiet on some football fields as COVID catches fire in the NFL. 3 games now postponed. The league logging roughly 100 cases over just a 3-day period, tackling key players like Baker Mayfield, Odell Beckham, and Taylor Heineke. What's to blame here?
First and foremost is this Omicron variant. It's almost like a brand new disease. I think secondly, we've recognized that immunity is going down for people that have had their vaccines in the past.
With the sudden spike in cases, the NFL ramped up COVID safety protocols just ahead of this weekend. Among the rules, masking indoors, including in the weight room, moving meetings to outside or online, and requiring boosters for top team staff, but not players. Though today, a major shift in COVID strategy. The NFL announcing it will no longer require weekly testing for asymptomatic vaccinated players, though they could undergo random testing. We witnessed some of those protocols play out in Seattle. NFL players see a lot of these, the Seahawks in particular, getting tested at least twice a week here. Once we get our results from the testing trailer, that's our green light to head inside the practice facility. Coach Pete Carroll's crew has long been hailed as a shining example of minimizing the spread of COVID, with an upgraded ventilation system, rearranged lockers, and testing for players and their families. The Seahawks without a single confirmed case last season.
It's impacted how they've lived their lives, the players, both inside the walls of a practice facility within a stadium and also outside, which is, critically the important factor here.
But not even one of the highest vaccinated teams could keep dodging the virus. 2 of their star players just infected. How are the guys holding up?
It hit us, hit us hard because we've been so good for so long.
In your decades of coaching, have you ever experienced a challenge like this?
No.
Dozens of players benched from the Washington football team and Cleveland Browns. Their games this weekend postponed. And the Seahawks opponent, who they were supposed to play tomorrow, the LA Rams, had 29 players out for COVID protocols. Their game has been pushed to Tuesday.
The precedent that we've set games back kind of, it works against that big date where the Super Bowl is, so I think it's going to be really challenging for the league to figure it out.
The COVID crunch coming at a critical time for the Seahawks. Tuesday could determine their chance at playoffs.
Playing on Tuesday and then playing on Sunday is very odd, and especially being the team that has to travel. I don't know, the only people that really benefit from that, in my opinion, is LA, but we're professionals.
Professionals, a point Coach Carroll has been driving home since the start of the pandemic.
It was about attitude first. We choose how we want to take on the challenges, and the mentality that we have.
Emily Ikeda, NBC News, Seattle.
And even with COVID numbers rising across the country, theaters are expected to be packed for the new Spider-Man movie. We caught up with locals after the show at Cinemark Tinseltown in Shreveport.
So, I guess you're a guy for Spider-Man fans, right? So, how many movies have you seen?
All of them.
So, which one is your favorite?
This one's probably going to be up there. This one's going to be up there.
Yeah. He's the big fan of Spider-Man.
I guess
it's his birthday today.
Growing up as a kid watching them, and then coming out on my birthday, we had to come up here and check it out.
Yes, he's made me watch all the past movies this past week and get ready for it.
And experts believe the film will shatter pandemic-era box office numbers and make between $100 and $200 million this weekend. Coming up, LSU and Louisiana Tech men's basketball squared off in Bossier City. We've got those highlights, and we recap one of the most exciting Independence Bowl finishes next in sports.
now, sports on NBC6. Brought to you by the Sportsbook at Margaritaville.
It was cold, it was wet, but the weather did not put a damper on the 2021 Independence Bowl. Probably the greatest game in the history of this storied bowl. UAB pulling off the upset of the 13th ranked BYU Cougars, and John, at the end of the day, BYU just making a critical mistake late that cost him this one.
You said it. It was back and forth all game long. We went into the half 21-14. It felt like whoever had the ball last was going to win this game. BYU had that chance. Samson Nakua catches a ball. He fumbles in UAB territory, and the rest was history. And Coach Kalani Sitake says no one is hurting more than Nakua is right now.
No one feels worse than Samson right now, but we love that kid. You know, he's a big part of our program. He's a big part of our family, so we forgive him. It's okay. The game is full of a lot of little plays like that, and it didn't come down to that one play, but there's a lot of little plays that happen, and there's a lot of guys in that locker room that are feeling bad, but they're going to have to pick themselves up.
For UAB, the Blazers run the football. They did it very well today. Debo McBride, 183 yards, rushing a long touchdown run in the first half. The backbone of the Blazers offense showed up big when the Blazers needed him most.
Yeah, you got to have that guy. Debo's, you know, is our guy, and we were able to feed it to him, and that sets up our throw game. You know, our throw game, and you know, we took a shot to Shropshire at the end, and they were really playing high safeties a lot, and they were saying we weren't going to get behind them, which of course sets up the run game. So, you know, as I always talk about, you got to take what they give you, and I think we did a good job of that.
So me and you had a lot of fun here tonight, right? I think we can say that.
We definitely did.
So right across town, there's some more fun happening. Brookshire's Grocery Arena, a top 25 ranked LSU Tiger basketball team taking on Louisiana Tech. Our Sam Rothman is there with more. Sam, hopefully you're having fun too.
Hey guys, it's been a busy sports day. The Independence Bowl earlier in Shreveport, and tonight the battle in Bossier with Louisiana Tech and LSU facing off right here in Brookshire's Grocery Arena. The Tigers coming in as the 19th best team in the country, also with the best defense in the nation. But on the other end, the Bulldogs have one of the best scorers in the country in Kenneth Lofton Jr. And Lofton Jr. got right to work in this one. This shot missed, but Jr. right there to clean up the mess, and that capped off an 11-0 run by Tech to open up this one. Later in the first, Amari Archibald goes coast to coast for the finish. He tied a team high with 13 in the game. Tech leads 35-27 at the break. To the second, after LSU takes the lead, Jr. ties us up again. We're even at 57. But it wasn't enough. Tari Eason with an emphatic slam to put an exclamation point on this one. The Tigers move to 12-0 as they get the win 66-57. And that'll do it for sports. So we'll be right back.
You're watching NBC6 News at 10.
Well, actress Betty White is getting ready for her 100th birthday, and fans will have the chance to celebrate with a limited-time movie event. The former Golden Girls star is inviting fans to see Betty White 100 Years Young, a birthday celebration on her birthday, which is January 17th. The special celebration will premiere in almost 900 theaters across the country and will showcase the life of one of Hollywood's most beloved actresses, including moments from The Golden Girls, Saturday Night Live, Hot in Cleveland, and The Mary Tyler Moore Show. And here's a live look from our Louisiana Tower Cam. Definitely a rainy and chilly day out there.
Well, final check of your forecast tonight. Your temperatures will drop into the 30s, and after a week of 80-degree highs, we've got a cool set of days here as we'll be either in the 40s or 50s through Tuesday. Cold nights as well, but there's another warming trend as we head through your Christmas week. Dry conditions for much of Christmas week, and we are looking at Christmas Eve and Christmas Day highs in the mid-70s, and it looks like we'll stay dry through your Christmas weekend as well.
For watching, have a great night.
NBC6 News is now on Alexa. Now you have local news that matters at the sound of your voice.